If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I don't even know how to go about doing this video. And honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do any videos after this, because that's how pissed off and sick I am over it. And it just gives more credibility to people out there who investigated, and such as myself and many others, and looked into Pizzagate, which if you're not really familiar, and even if you do remember it, just keep in mind that all the posts and stuff were on a guy's Instagram account publicly. So anything where people are like, oh, you know, they were feeding into people and trying to bait people, everything that's happened and been flipped upside down on its head was because things were discovered that shouldn't have been discovered. And that includes a lot of the work that I did showing the buildings surrounding Comet Ping Pong and all that stuff. And I'm not going to get deep into Pizzagate now. There are videos on the website. I highly recommend you check them out. And I might even do another deep dive into it, because seeing this just, well, it should be enough to piss people off. And let's just start with the fact that not only is it going to make people mad that they're teaching this in school, but how about the fact that they're not even hiding that they use code words to talk about intercourse. They use code words because that's exactly what Pizzagate was, right? Emails were leaked, and that's where the credibility part came into play, because a lot of people believe WikiLeaks are fake leaks. Some people believe they're controlled leaks. I looked at it from the standpoint of, okay, I believe in PSYOPs. I know a lot of these things get fake leaked. So I'm just going to go about this guy, this individual who runs a pizza place, who's mysteriously hanging out at the White House with President Obama and hanging out with all of these CNN anchors and all this crap. When I look at his menu and I see the grossest looking food I've ever seen in my life, you know that it's a front when the guy's on the list of 50 most powerful people in Washington and he runs a pizzeria. Because anybody with common sense who's been to a pizzeria knows it's highly unlikely that a pizzeria owner would be the highest, on a list of the highest ranking people in Washington, D.C. So the guy was posting all this stuff, as you know, which was just completely disturbing and disgusting. Like I said recently, it would be the type of stuff that would have, people, anyone investigated in any neighborhood, just for posting these things where they're putting pizza and using codes to talk, okay? This is about a Connecticut school that is using pizza and pizza toppings as metaphors for intercourse. That's right. Wow. Looks like it's all coming full circle, because the codes that they've used in the past, they're now using publicly. So they've done it in secret, talking about pizza, and then certain toppings meant certain preferences when they ordered these children up on a menu. And here we have a school, a middle school in Connecticut, where they're instructed to use pizza as metaphors for intercourse and asking to cite their favorite toppings, including cheese meaning kissing and olives for meaning giving oral. I kid you not. Now, not only is this a problem that this is being discussed in a school. Okay, this ain't sex ed where there's a big picture, even though that, a lot of people don't even agree that should be shown in school. That's something that should be left to the parents. But, they're showing a picture and they're showing you what the names of the parts are, and and you could debate that day and night. A little bit different here when the teacher's asking 8th graders at John F. Kennedy Middle School in Enfield. The 8th graders received the pizza and consent assignment, which compared ordering a pizza to receiving consent. And this isn't necessarily new, because, like I said, not only has Pizzagate opened people's eyes to the codes and the stuff they've used, TED Talk even had a creepy guy who you can look at just like Ali Fontes and say something's wrong here, and use pizza as reference. This is to code word things to get away with things.
Shock and disgust in a Connecticut town after parents discovered their middle school kids are given an assignment asking about their sexual likes and dislikes. Erica Sanzi is the director of outreach for Parents Defending Education. She now joins us to discuss the latest crisis in the classroom. Welcome to the National Desk.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
As a parent, I can't even believe this, and we're not going to get into all the graphic details with the specifics, But essentially, the kids were given an assignment that used pizza toppings to show their sexual likes and dislikes. And when you first hear about this, Erica, you're thinking, what in the world? What is this all about? And what are you hearing from parents?
Yeah, so the reason we know about this story is that parents were very upset and felt like they were being ignored. So they reached out to us at Parents Defending Education to let us know what happened, and they sent us a copy of the assignment. And the assignment started out with a sentence that said, yes, pizza can be a metaphor for sex. And then it went on to explain that just like when friends have to agree on pizza toppings when they're sharing a pizza, that people need to agree on what they're willing to do and not do in terms of consent. And so they decided to have the students list their sexual likes and dislikes and then draw them on a pizza as pizza toppings. Now, again, these are 8th graders, and it's important to keep in mind, under 15% of 8th graders have had sex. So they're being asked very personal questions on a topic that many of them are totally inexperienced with and likely uncomfortable talking about in school.
Right. And I was looking at some of the questions, and these are questions, that would make an adult blush, quite frankly. The district's health and PE coordinator shared that there was an issue with the initial assignment and posted this online explanation. The correct version of the assignment is for students to work in small groups to craft a pizza with toppings. No behaviors associated with said toppings. That would make everyone happy, comfortable using nonverbal communication only. Students are then asked to reflect and discuss how thoughts or feelings can be confusing or misconstrued if we rely on nonverbal cues, communication alone, which I think is even more confusing when I read this, because I'm not really truly understanding what the purpose of this was. Perhaps they have an explanation. So did the school district or any other administrators offer any other additional explanations as to what the purpose and what the end goal and end game was of all this? And should other parents be concerned children in other school districts are being given similar lessons?
I mean, they're saying that the lesson was a lesson in consent, and I think we can all agree that consent is a topic that's important. Schools likely have a role to play in that. The problem is that what we have is a major quality control problem and also an ideology problem. So you have sort of these two things that come together that now lead to a captive audience of children, essentially, having to listen to hypersexual content and what some people actually feel like borders on grooming behavior.
Right. And then in this school, they say we can use pizza as a metaphor for intercourse. That's what the assignment was given to kids. When you order pizza with your friends, everyone checks in about each other's preferences, right? Some people might be vegan, some might be gluten-free. Others might love pineapple while others prefer pepperoni, according to this assignment. This is on the assignment, as you could see. Some might not like pizza at all. If you're a vegetarian, your friend is a meat lover. Sharing a pizza is going to bring up a lot of issues. You don't know who can share a pizza with or who you can share a pizza with unless you ask, it continued. So they're using this to pervert children's minds. And then, of course, they're coming out of and flat out saying, hey, we've been using code words for this stuff for a long time. And now we're going to teach it to children. Yeah, Pizzagate is a real big conspiracy that all people made up. What they did was they hijacked it and politicized it. When I started investigating it, I had zero concern about Republicans or Democrats. My only concern was the health and well-being of children. And guess where I am now? My only well-being was for the health and safety of children. I couldn't care less about Republicans or Democrats, but sadly, since it's been hijacked, they've turned the narrative into Hillary Clinton and these people. Of course they're involved, but so are Republicans. Does anyone actually care about the kids, or is this just always going to be about politics, the fake paradigm of the left and right? Meanwhile, this is what kids are getting handed in schools, and this is why more and more parents, hopefully, are getting their kids out of the institutions. But I'm almost starting to think that they want the parents to take the kids out of the institution so they can get these kids locked up and hooked into the metaverse, or whatever you want to call it, virtual reality teaching, to at least ease them into this virtual hell that they're creating. And they have planned for society. Because remember, the new, the Great Reset has everything to do with this. The industrial age being killed off, and then everything being running through technology. That would include the education of children. So it's almost like they're putting stuff like this out there, in my opinion. I'm looking at it more and more going, do they want parents to pull the kids? Because we heard this stuff down in Virginia with what was going on in the bathrooms, right? The kids are dressing in the opposite genders. They have activity going on there where people are getting abused. Just insane stuff. And then the school boards are allowing it. It's almost like, do they have any self-awareness? They're allowing this. They don't know that it's going to be on national news and they're all going to lose their jobs. It's almost like they're baiting people into pulling their kids out so that they could say, all right, but now that your kids are out, we're going to pass a law that all kids who are homeschooled, because now 50%, say, as an example, of the population's homeschooling, this is the only way you could do it. Or otherwise, it's a crime against your children because you're not going to give them a chance to succeed in the world, and you're going to have to do it with virtual reality because it's going to be virtual. To me, that's where this looks like it's leading. Because if parents are sitting at home and they're saying that 8th graders should be talking about certain toppings meaning certain sexual preferences, like olives meaning oral, you've got to be kidding me. Not only should the teacher be in jail, imagine what would have happened to him in the Wild Wild West days. Think he'd be in jail? Nah, he wouldn't have lived long enough to get to jail. Look at this. Consent is enthusiastic. Consent is fluid. Consent is respectful. Consent is required. So they're coaxing this with consent so that people, as if these kids are going to go out and commit, you know what, on somebody else without their consent. What's pizza got to do with it? They go on to explain. Personal pizza, likes and dislikes, right? So they're mentioning their likes and dislikes for their preferences as far as what goes in the bedroom. They're 8th graders. Grief. So ordering a personal pizza was likened to giving consent. The same goes with intercourse. You have to check in with your partner and ask for their preferences. Your partners might be comfortable with one sexual activity, but not another. So start a conversation. It's the only way intercourse and pizza can be comfortable and enjoyable for everyone. The bizarre assignment then continues on another page under the headline Personal Pizza. Now that you know this metaphor for intercourse, let's explore your preferences. Draw and color your favorite type of pizza. What's your favorite style of pizza? Your favorite toppings? What are your pizza no-nos? It read. Now mirror these preferences in relation to intercourse. Here are some examples. Like cheese equals kissing. Dislikes. Olives equals giving oral, the students were told. Obviously, you might not be able to list all of your wants, desires, and boundaries, but hopefully you'll start feeling more comfortable about discussing them. What insane world am I living in? I mean, really, in 8th grade, it was like, oh, you going to the dance? You'd be nervous. Can you ask someone to go to the dance? Maybe a girl will say, yes, you go to the dance. You never even really end up dancing with them, maybe once. The girls sit on one side, the boys sit on the other. Maybe they interact. I don't know what dances are like now. Probably everyone's sitting on their phone, picking their nose in the corner. But no, 8th graders now, they're more worried about just mentally warping them and then what's your favorite? Giving oral pizza? Oh, let's just start, it's despicable. Good grief. For those of y'all who don't like pizza or intercourse at all, feel free to draw out another food favorite or include non-intercourse-like activities. So for those who don't like pizza, I mean, is this guy have a job still? I'm not an advocate for people losing their jobs or people being defunded, but good grief. How about in prison here? Losing your job, forget that. You want to investigate this guy's background? They say the simple truth was it was a mistake, according to the superintendent. And I know that there are some who may not believe that. I know there are some who don't necessarily maybe want that answer. What answer do we want? Well, how about how about we have your school locked down for starters? Maybe we should investigate, it's just, in this particular case, I didn't even get a chance, they said, to apologize because the person who made the mistake jumped ahead of me of it before I was even notified that it happened. I'm sorry. Let me reread that. In this particular case, I didn't even get a chance to be aware of this because the person who made the mistake jumped ahead. So the teacher did it without the permission of the superintendent, he said. So he's covering his rear end. He said that while the assignment was inappropriate, there was no hidden agenda. Oh, no. This will just give them another opportunity to bring up Pizzagate, right? So that they could say, oh, and people are hearing this and they think there's code word and you're teaching the kids the code. Give me a break. He said there was no secret cabal to indoctrinate kids on something. They sent the wrong document. So that's what happened. And none of us are happy that it happened. Oh, they sent the wrong document. Right. And monkeys might fly out of all of our butts. Teacher Bree Corton, the district's health and physical ed teacher, took the blame for the took the blame for it. The incorrect version, as opposed to the revised version of the assignment, was particularly posted on our grade 8 curriculum page, and it was inadvertently used for instruction to grade 8 health classes. I caught the error after our curriculum revision in June, but failed to post the intended. Oh, right. Right. So you just accidentally handed it out. You didn't even look at it before you handed it out. They explained what the correct version of the assignment was for students to work in small groups to craft a pizza with toppings. No behavior associated with the said toppings mentioned before that would make everyone happy and comfortable using nonverbal communication only. This is the insane crap that's going on in school. I mean, we can look back and say, well, it was insane, the fake history that they taught us in school. But maybe they're better off learning that. But instead they're, doing stuff like this to kids. They're slipping it into their curriculum until they get caught. And then when they get caught, of course, it's, we didn't mean to hand it out. It was an accident. Oh, it was an accident. It was an accident. How would the kids, when they get it, somebody didn't raise their hand and you just go run around the classroom and grab the pieces of paper? Actually went through with it. You didn't look beforehand. I mean, what kind of teachers would these be? Is this the same people that are putting up the purple lights? We didn't test them out. We just put them up all over the country and the lights are purple now. Oh, yeah. We were all born yesterday. Yep. Continue on. Good grief. It says students are then asked to reflect and discuss how thoughts or feelings can be confusing or misconstrued if we rely on nonverbal cues, communication alone. I mean, this is just all insane liberal. I hate to even use the term, like I say a million times, liberal mindset, right? These are the same people who want to be announced as pronouns with this insanity type talk. Oh, what are your thoughts and feelings can be misconstrued on nonverbal cues and communication alone? Get a life. How about you just be normal like every other generation of humans before now? Grow a pair of balls, okay? If you're a woman, don't grow a pair, but, have a spine and deal with the world like a normal human being. Problems come, you deal with them. People pick on you, you deal with it, right? Oh, let's talk about this. We're going to use this as an excuse for people's feelings and their preferences for consent. So we're going to teach kids and slip in stuff about oral and Lord knows whatever else was on this document. Give me a break. What more can even be said, right? And the fact that they're using pizza, I mean, it gives more credibility because these are all code words that have already been used for a long period of time. And you still see it, right? I just did the video on Machine Gun Kelly, right? Oh, it was a coincidence he was holding the pizza box. How about all the pictures I've cut? I mean, man, there's so much stuff that I went through researching-wise in 2016 showing this stuff where you just find celebrities wearing like pizza pajamas and crap like that. And it's not normal behavior. You know that they're speaking code. They're winking, holding up pizza pentagrams, right? The satanic pentagram. We all know the connection between Satanism and this stuff, which is why the Satanists try so hard to go after anyone that claims they're a victim of abuse and blame it on Satanism because they want to keep this stuff secret. Then this stuff, the cat got out of the, what is the saying? The cat got out of the bag and everybody started figuring it out because people like me and you out there listening were exposing it. Jeez. And now they're just teaching kids. Like I've been saying, what are they doing on the TV shows? The kids are acting as adults. The kids are putting in weird situations where they're giving lectures to adults, acting like adults. Then you have kids dating at young ages on TV shows. They're just subliminally preparing people for all of this stuff with young kids. Because you know it's going to come soon with the new technology we have. Children are so advanced that they're smarter than what an old human being would have been 20 years ago. Now they're advanced at 8, so they should be able to date a 50-year-old. That's what it's leading towards. But this is going on in schools. I don't know what else I could say without fainting at this point or putting a hole through my wall. This world is despicable and disgraceful. Man, it's almost like they're baiting, but you know why I don't think they are? Because this isn't even a national story. Some news media outlets picked up on it. People on my website picked up on it. But it's not on the mainstream at night talking about it, because it's not part of the left-right divide. Instead, it's about inflation, and it's about Trump versus Biden, and these zombies just continue on. Well, they continue to just change curriculum into insane stuff, and then they try to code it around consent and feelings, and all these people are like on board. Like, yes, and winning doesn't matter. Just compete and give it your all. Right? Like, what is this insane world for people to just literally have diapers put on them when they're 40 years old and pacifiers stuck in their mouths because they don't have a sack between their legs? It's embarrassing. Reminder, check out the website at callforuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. I hope to see you over there. I thank everyone for being here. I don't really have anything else to say. It's just sickening. Absolutely sickening. Pray for these kids out there. It's really, it's in God's hands because these people are just filthy animals. God bless everyone out there and your families.